What's up, guys? It's time for a monthly patron review. We're going to review 1 Hour Photo from 2002 starring the late, great Robin Williams. These are reading glasses and everything's blurry right now. My eyes hurt. One Hour Photo stars Robin Williams, Connie Nielsen, Michael Vartan, and is directed by Mark Romanek. What's up, guys? Welcome to another catalog review. This one's for Bronson Wright Wolf. He's been giving me some great ones over the past few months. Now, this one is Robin Williams, and it just made me sad to even watch this movie, not just because of the subject matter, but because of Robin Williams. I mean, God, we love the guy so much, and it sucks so much that he's gone. And this movie, with this wonderful performance by him, just really brought back those emotions. You know, we lost a really great actor and great human being. Not to get into too much of the weeds of that, but I just remember reading so many nice things about Robin Williams and his relationship with other actors, especially like Christopher Reeve, taking care of him while he was, you know, after he had his accident, always being there for him. So I'm sure a lot of people are hurt that he's gone, but we're gonna review a over 20-year-old movie now, 1 Hour Photo. I saw this when it first came out. I didn't remember anything of it watching it this time. For some reason, I only watched it one time, but I remember it was definitely unsettling, but I wasn't sure how unsettling until I just gave it this fresh watch, 22 years later.
I've been doing mini lab work for over 20 years now. I consider it an important job.
Pretend. This is all pretend. Come on! No! Smack!
You know what? It's not as unsettling as I thought it was going to be. And I don't mean that in a bad way. There's still some creepy stuff in this movie. But when you compare it to maybe its peers, like, say, like Seven, or even like Obsession type movies, I think a lot of other movies, they aim to go for the more disturbing. Whereas this movie, I think it intentionally pulls back, to really just do more of a character study. So anyway, let me give you a quick plot synopsis, and I will be talking some spoilers in this one. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this movie, but I'll save that stuff till the end of the review, though, okay? So you're good, and I'll give you a warning even when we get there, just in case you haven't seen 1 Hour Photo. So Robin Williams, he plays Cy. He works at a 1 Hour Photo. We see it all the time still when we go to like the CVS, and you got the photo person there. Now they do the digital thing. And there's kind of a mention of like digital here, because I remember I got my first digital camera in 2003. So they were starting to circulate around the time that this movie came out. And I like that they kind of touched on that. Cy has a disturbing past, which they get more into that in the final part of the movie. Really, I guess the coda of the movie. But he does have this obsession with this family. Connie Nielsen is the mother. She's Nina. And very nice family. This is just a really good-looking family that he's jealous of. The father is Will, played by Michael Vartan. But the thing that's disturbing here is it seems all nice and cozy and normal for the first part of the movie when we're introduced to the characters. But then when we venture into Cy's apartment and we see on the wall hundreds of photos that he has processed. So he made like duplicates for himself all over the wall. The first thing I thought too was, behind the scenes, these actors, when they're trying to create photos for set material and whatnot, I can imagine how many photos this family, this acting family had to take for this role. Because usually it's like a couple of photos. They might be able to shoot it on a day of, at the end of a day of shooting. But here, I can imagine they probably took a couple of full days just shooting photos, because you don't want them all to look like they were taken around the same time. It has to span over quite a few years of a period. And I always find the set decoration in movies really interesting, because I'm the type of viewer that I like to look around on any given scene, not just the subjects, but also what's behind them. What little clues might kind of lure me into the plot, so that way when I go back and watch the movie later, maybe there's something that'll catch my eye. By the way, quick little side note, Gary Cole, we all know him as Lumbergh from Office Space. He always plays a boss, right? And he plays the boss of Cy in this movie. And every time I see him, I just can't help but think of Lumbergh. Yeah, hi. I was fully expecting him to do that in this movie, but thankfully he didn't. I do like how subtle this movie is. That is refreshing. And Cy, he doesn't come off as really a dangerous person, even though you see some creepy stuff in his apartment. But the movie plays out like he doesn't like intentionally want to hurt this family. He might not even want to ever like intrude on this family. He could go his whole life with these photos and fantasizing about being a part of the family, you know, maybe being an uncle, and that would be fine. But this is a movie that's a thriller, so we want the tables to turn. So what causes the tables to turn is he notices a crack in the family. The husband is having an affair on the wife. He sees all these photos that this family gives. And so he notices all these little things. And so he notices the mistress when she comes in. He's like, you look familiar, which means he saw the photo in the past. And this just enrages him. How dare you fracture this quote unquote perfect family? And it kind of sends him over the edge. And so there's a point in the movie where he starts stalking the husband, Will, and following him and eventually getting to the hotel room where he's actually committing the act. And you never know how far this movie's gonna go. I mean, he has a knife and he's forcing them to be naked and get in these like sexual positions with each other. And he takes the photos. Now, all this ties back to Cy's childhood. And he has this moment at the end of the movie where he just kind of explodes emotionally. It sort of reminded me of the end of First Blood, how Rambo, after he's caused all this havoc, he just emotionally lets everything out and what has caused all this to bubble up to the surface. Same thing here. It's almost like a therapeutic session that he has with the detective. And after the detective hears it, he empathizes with Cy. But Robin Williams just gives a really emotional performance. And it's such a great performance that you forget it's Robin Williams. After a while, you're just like so into the character and Cy. And for a second, I'm like, oh my God, wait, that's Robin Williams from, you know, The World According to Garp and Good Will Hunting. And he just transforms himself in every role. And this movie is no exception. You can tell that he took the character extremely serious. And I think he had a good time not going over the edge like, say, like Max Cady in Cape Fear, you know? Just a very different character with his own set of problems and just exploring that. I'd imagine this is fun for an actor. But as far as any cons, I would say when comparing this to a lot of the movies like this that came out around that time, I think it is a little bit forgettable because it doesn't really go for it. But I don't blame the director and I don't blame the writers because I think that was intentional. They wanted to have something different and not just be a bloodbath like everything else. And to go into a little bit of spoiler territory here, nobody dies in this movie. Not a single person dies. I don't even think a single person is even cut. It's more emotional damage, and you feel really bad for Nina, played by Connie Nielsen, who does a really great job in this movie as well. You just love her as a character, and it breaks your heart to see what happens to her because she thinks she's got this great marriage, and it turns out to not be the case. And one thing that was interesting too is they don't really show the aftermath of their marriage. You know, it's just the very end of the movie is them face to face and they both know what has happened and he's humiliated. So definitely giving this one like a low purchase value though. It's a really disturbing movie and I have to give it credit because again, nobody dies in the movie, but it still gets really under your skin. So thank you, Bronson Wright Wolf, for recommending this one. I got another one coming up for one of my channel members here really soon for The Mask of Zorro, which will be interesting. I don't do non-horror all the time, but I do enjoy it. I did The Day After Tomorrow last month for Bronson, so it is fun stepping outside of my horror comfort zone and doing other genres, because I love movies in general. I was raised on action movies and disaster movies and you know, and horror, so yeah. So let me know what you guys think of 1 Hour Photo in the comments. Looking forward to hearing them. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Free for Fridays. Follow me, Drum Dums, on my social support, my Patreon, buy my coffee. And you guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Drum Dum out.